Okay. The big question is, who is illiterate? Not those who cannot read and write. Actual illiterates are who cannot learn, we cannot relearn, and who cannot unlearn. That is not mine, Alan Toffler says. So, in this environment, if you cannot learn on your own, if you cannot relearn, if you cannot unlearn, you are not illiterate. Literacy is not just confined to one particular language or one particular. If somebody can write and read Kannada, that doesn't mean he is a literate. In this environment, literate means who can learn. So then what about the education? Is only the library is in a questionable stage or all other things also? The traditional education has got many questions. Technology enabled education is also a problem. And e-learning also is questioned, whether they are in line with what is happening in the technology trend or not. If they are online and responsive design, yes, it is alive. Otherwise, that is also questioned. And the role of teachers also, it's in a paradigm shift. Role of librarians also is in a paradigm shift. There are many questions and many answers. And everybody are defending their own status. Even if it is a traditional librarian, he will also defend himself. If he is a traditional teacher, he also defends. But whether the end users, now the generation Z or generation Y, are they accepting us is a big question. So if they are not accepting our approach, no use of doing anything of this kind. The truth is, the development, old development of library or education or a business, whatever is there, is on par with, in consonance with the ICT development and its adoption. One time in the beginning, we were thinking if the internet speed is not good, we cannot do this, we cannot do that, multimedia material cannot take over. Now, with millions and millions of end users using the smartphone with internet, the internet speed is fantastic. And people are comfortable. People are sharing photos, people are sharing multimedia material. So that particular speed of internet is making a lot of miracles in the whole of education and whole of development in library. Example is effect of COVID-19 is not an effect of technology, it is a social compulsion of education. Automatically, people moved on to the online classes. There was no other way. And online or exam at the location of the student became necessary. So that means that whether we like it or not, whether we are ready or not, whether we have a skill or not, it is taking us away from the traditional things and to the technology enabled activity. That is how the things are moving. And of course, there is no dispute about the need of information or need of books, need of journal. But then what is the question? The question is how they are accessed, whether they are comfortable, whether remote access is there or not, access the information wherever they are or not. That is the question. It is not, there is no dispute. Okay, I need a book, I need a textbook, I need a course material, but I should be able to access wherever I am. That is the question now. And the discussion is need of different type and level of learners. All learners are not same. Each learner have their own approach. Each learner have their own type of learning. Learning style is also different. Their information need is also different. Multilingual things are there. There are so many aspects in learners. So, but with all this background, I'm not defining a platform. I'm just trying to convey, keeping a mirror in front of you. Should libraries continue to be silos or not? All these years, they were like a separate, independent, isolated department. Whenever they need, they used to come to the library and they used to borrow whatever they want. Even in the digital environment or otherwise, we were actually, as a library, we were like an isolated part. But the question is, are we changing or aligning with the shifts? There are so many shifts. Are we doing that? So if it is to be considered learning, is it the same? It is very clear that learning does not happen only in physical classrooms. There is a good teacher, there are bad teachers. But there are nothing like a good librarian or a bad librarian. There is a comment about good library or a bad librarian. Nobody says, hey, he's a bad librarian, he's a good librarian. Because teacher has got a direct interaction with the students. Librarians are not having a direct interaction. Libraries are recognized based on the tools, technology, and collection. Libraries recognition is indirect. So the indirect role of or a supporting role of a library is getting help the teachers and they are getting enabled as a best teachers, as a good teachers. So that means the content and the classroom goes together. How we are doing, how we are not doing. But online classes are replacing the physical classroom. That is very well witnessed in this time of COVID-19. So in the COVID-19, already they are saying, what is the next normal? Future normal of the life itself is very well visualized in the COVID-19 period. And that time the online was used very effectively. So that is that particular type of trend and that trend is going to get continued. And if that is going to happen, real paradigm shift, next line of paradigm is going to happen now. And even peers are teaching and hosting on the web. That is becoming an alternative to the teachers also. So that means technology and online environment is questioning librarians, questioning the teachers, questioning the even learning environment itself, and even the to student teaching and learning is becoming an alternative. Then again, it is going to be a different mindset for the students. So, and again, when you come to the teacher, the books or e-books or e-journal are not the only material. Actually, books and journals are like a raw material for teaching and learning aspects. Teaching and learning activities are filtering the information from the books and journals and preparing the course materials for end user. That kind of packaging of information, packaging of the content to addressing to the learner is becoming the job of the teachers, not as an expert. So they are taking the books, journals, and textbooks, whatever the package is done by some group of teachers, that they are going to communicate to the students. The new package now coming out more than the books and the journal is learning material, course materials, not just textbooks. And there are multimedia materials. So these are becoming a important package of information than the books or a journal or a textbook. So people are moving away from this particular to physical classroom because there are so many alternatives. And it's also very difficult for us to pinpoint where one learns. Somebody may learn in classroom, somebody may learn from the peers, somebody learn from reading, somebody by watching videos, somebody by doing it. So these are also, this type of learning is also established, but in a classroom there are 100 students who are learning with what is the strength, and whether they listen to teacher, whether there is a deviation or diversion from them in the classroom, they cannot listen to teacher and they can read better, they can understand better. There's so many things are there. It is not that all are same. Each one have their own unique style of learning. If that is the case, what is that we do? Classroom may not be suitable for all the students. There are some reasons, established reasons. Sensory strength. Somebody visual, they can see and learn very fast. Somebody's auditory perception is very good. Somebody's reading and writing is good. Somebody can do it and learn, they just jump to do it. That is kinesthetic. These are called the sensory strength, which makes them to learn. That's why one size doesn't fit all. Even just traditional classroom, some 10% may be very good and comfortable with a traditional classroom. Some students are very good with a visual. Some students are good. They read and learn. They find a suitable learning material or reading material. They learn. And some people jump to do it things whenever they get a chance. So that is how the learning is moving. So there is also a theory, learning is not just consumption of packaged information. There is some course material, teacher has given some notes, just by heart it, understand it, store it, and reproduce in the examination. That is, that consumption of information is for the completion of the examination. This consumption is good or bad is a different uh, debate, but some cases it is good, some cases it is bad. If the information is there, it will match when they are doing, and it will retrieve, the mind will retrieve them. When they are really coming to that kind of context, then you use that information. So there is some good and a bad and are there. But students interaction, in student interaction, one of the students interaction, I found that I asked their students, is this multimedia material suitable or not? Good or not? The student's answer was multimedia is good for learning, but for the examination. It is not good for the examination. They need the text linked to the examination purpose. They want to know the text, what they should write for the examination questions. But they can understand better in the multimedia, but they cannot answer to the questions in the examination. That is why majority of the students read writes. They read question answers. So they are directly targeting themselves into the writing in the examination. That's why the learning, whatever you do, whatever the best of the textbooks, best of the reference books, best of the multimedia material, you supply anything, their target is very clear. They want to get highest mark. They want to write what teacher expects, what examiner expects. That is why they read the best guides who are writing for the sake of examination. That is how the learning is trending towards. But we see it is not really a context of teachers or librarians, whatever we are developing, until and unless examination is aligned with what we are making them to get ready, may not happen. So let us look at the mechanism of traditional or online, how it is done, how it is going. So there are four ingredients in teaching learning process: student, teacher, content, and context. If at all in a strict sense of learning and teaching, ideally, or this is the four parameters. And these four parameters, if the interdependence is established, if we can link student to teacher, student to context, or teacher to context, or teacher to the student, see, and context to that particular student. If we can relate these four, if we can develop a dependence, interdependence of these four components, it is not just one direction, it is a multi-direction, one not one to one, one to many. If that can happen, that can be derived, it is a volume of content is there about this particular four interdependence parameters. It is in the technology, it is in the process, it is establishing a dependence even in the physical classroom. Also, there are a lot of literature, and also the mechanism is developed in this. So in the traditional classroom also, everybody goes to, after the classroom, they go to library, or they go to the whatever the teachers give notes. Teacher also goes to library whenever they want to prepare the class. Student also goes there. So sometimes library we connect it to classroom. There is a symbiotic relationship between the classroom teacher and the library. In the traditional library, it was like the library was most important thing. It was the thing for everybody. Maybe to the classroom, it may be to the teacher, it may be to the student. In the electronic environment, library and the content itself started going to classroom, started going to teacher, or started going to student, and that symbiotic relationship also varied in a different style. So it is content to context. Every context, whenever they need, whatever they need, they can access in this electronic era. So that means there the access was limited. Here the access is very convenient and to the context. So the comfort level in the electronic era is increased, even in the classroom and the teacher and the student. Even to exchange the information between teachers, between the student and teacher, and also the classroom, relay of classroom teaching to many other institutes or even to the home has also been established. So that means the communication and the access to information, and if the classroom teaching is recorded, even pair teaching is recorded and put it on the website, students can listen to that particular lesson whenever they want, whatever they want. So that means the content structure of the library itself is getting changed. And library is becoming a platform for even the classroom, even the content, even the teacher, even the students. They can access anytime, whenever they want. But that kind of a platform is getting established in the library. It is not books or a journal. It is not the one kind of a resource management. It is the manage. See, everybody, even the electronic resource management, whatever we were talking, all these things were addressing the management of the collection. But now, no more library is collection centric. Library is moving from collection to the service. Library is moving from the static collection to the dynamic integrated to the activity itself. It is connected to the classroom. It is connected to the point of care in the hospital. Whenever the clinician gets some doubt, he can there and then, there is a structured content called point of care information. Like that, there is now information is getting contextualized, integrated to the point of activity. It may be in a classroom, it may be in teaching, it may be in hospital, it may be in industry, even on fly with the aeroplane. Whenever if they face a problem, they get an on-context information. So the dynamism of information is increasing to the level as a service, and it will be to the context. It is no more just management of collection and the collection. It is a service center. So the change is not just content. Content is same. Content may improve, the acceleration of content, production is increasing, but the change is in access and the format of and not the content by itself. Change is the context of access and content. So that is what is now the platform is leading towards. It is not just, okay, this is the collection I have, this is what I have, this is what is going to show, this is how the administration is done. So it is not, it is instead of getting shallow, it is getting integrated. So that is why we talk more and more of an access in the format context of the users, not just collection. When I was thinking about why these changes, yeah, of course it is in consonance with the technology it is changing, in consonance with the user expectation it is changing, in consonance with the younger generation, with generation Y, generation Z, their multitasking is expecting. Actually, there were so many questions were there when learning starts. So during our education, we consume information, we get a better marks, but we don't realize what we really learned. When we start working in the same direction, there we apply this information. There that consumed information converted into the knowledge. So knowledge becomes a knowledge from information when we start using that to consume information at the real-time application, at the applications of the work, at the point of the work. That is how, see, this consumption is important, but realistically, understanding is more important than the consumption. Examination point of view is different, understanding point of view is different, application point of view is different, converting that consumption of information to knowledge is different. So all these things are expecting these changes and also the class. Student, when they earlier it was teacher-centered instruction. It was totally teacher-centered. And the teacher decided, okay, what are the package that you wanted to teach? And also you will develop the package of content that what he students wants to mug or a student want to consume or realize, understand. And that kind of teaching was reproductive teaching style. So okay, you produce it next again, say to the next one, next one, next one. But now it is gradually shifting from reproduced teaching style to the productive style, and it is shifting to the learners. So that learner center, the current front is student centered learning. We are not teaching them much. We are not reading from line one to the last line of a textbook or a notes, giving the notes. We are empowering them. We are enabling them. We are developing students' ability to become their own teachers. So that is how the empowerment is getting built. Instead of teacher packaging and information, we are empowering each and every student to develop their own package suitable to their style of learning. You may be developing so many videos and then content text. Somebody wants only text and text because they want to mark, and somebody wants to apply it and do it at the point of learning. They are different. So each learner will have an empowerment for their own style. That's why teacher-centered education is moved to the student-centered learning, and that is where the empowerment is. So that is how the technology is also supporting. That is how the library content structuring is also increased. Now, each and every student, supposing just we have been, so many people are doing it, the e-learning and also the contextual learning. There is a syllabus. Syllabus is structurally defined, and if at all a librarian link all the videos, text, and learning material, course material to each and every topic. Whenever the student go for a curriculum and a syllabus list, he should be able to see all those links, and he will learn. And the classroom becomes the secondary point of learning. It becomes a flip learning. They get ready and go to teacher to shoot the questions and also ask for clearing of doubt. Otherwise, what is happening? They get something about the concept, then they go and clarify in the library or a teaching books or a journals or a course material. If it happens reverse, it is more effective. Flip learning is more effective. That is why it can help both. So that is what is now library. It may be an online library, it may be a digital library, or it may be a traditional library. We are having a chance to that. So that is how teacher's role is also getting changed. It is not teacher has to support student and help them to see how to learn. Learn to learn is important than the learning itself. How to learn is important, and how to help one another. If the students, if the peers talk to each other, their language, the level of understanding, the level of communication matches very well. If a peers start teaching their students, then their understanding capability also increases. How to negotiate if it is difficult, how to be resilient when things are tough, how to find solutions when they do not know what to do. This is what is derived by one of the researchers in the teaching community. And the goal is, all these things is, learning is a learning, an experience. So that create that learning experience is becoming important. It is not just consumption, it is not just attending, it is not just a compulsion. It's an experience, pleasant experience. And when the student come out of that particular learning, whatever may be the context, whatever may be the style, you will feel thrill, okay, I learned. That's an experience one can give. That empowerment of people to practice skill they need, and if they are start doing it, it becomes beyond the school or beyond the class. That is what an experience is. If at all we create a platform with all kind of learning material, including classroom recording. Classroom recording also we are supporting material. We are giving so many best of the teaching, even to the local classroom, and localizing the international teaching to the local classrooms. So many are there. if at all mix and match to the context of the examination also is possible. If that can happen, the library is going to be important. That becomes the primary teaching material, the place than the teaching. All these things demands active teacher who can dynamically guide the student to make themselves the teaching learning master. And if they if they want the teaching and learning process, students experience a different style. The teacher also. Now, the pedagogy, particularly for the schools, undergoing to the higher education, if that mechanism, if the teacher learn, that is going to be most result oriented instead of classroom teaching. See, the teachers are trying to pour information on everybody's head, and if they, without diversion, if they can return to the classroom, they learn something. Otherwise, it's very difficult. In the pedagogy, what they do is they should observe, they should monitor interaction, they should list the prepare the task, they scrutinize the correctness of this one, and also teaching style. Most important is obtain precise and authentic information, which is librarian's job. So all this pedagogy development, even in the health science field, there is something called evidence-based development, where the published article, published textbook is doubted. So what they do is they conduct a systematic review of all the literature using the best code, gold standard, and they come out with the best evidence that can be applied directly to the patients. Here also, when we teach the student, answer key says something, our teacher says something, that should not happen. That authentic and quality of information, that filtering has to happen from the library side. Even now, the Googlers are taught by the librarians to authenticate the information. That is, see, a library from the beginning is known for authentic information. We are not supposed to keep the guides. We have to, and also many times, even the teachers doesn't know which is the textbook, which is the guide, which is not a correct textbook. The definition of the textbook itself is different. You know, the teachers doesn't know. Teachers' notes also prepared from some guides. That is the poor standard of quality of the teaching material that is evolved. So teachers should, if he is a good in pedagogical approach, in the pedagogy of teaching, science of teaching, he has to obtain authentic and precise information on a topic that is becoming a primary goal. That should become the primary goal. That should become the primary goal of a library to teach them. So it is that in that component, teacher-student component, this is the most important. And second is diagnose the real need of the learner to that particular context. It may be for project, it may be for research, it may be for examination, learning and writing an examination. To that particular, each particular context needs a different type of information, different style of information. Comprehension of the information is also varies. Examination purpose comprehension is different and than the research comprehension. So that kind of content has to be identified, and even the teacher-learner contact, teacher-learner-to-learner interaction also has to be observed and identified and diagnosed by the teacher, and that librarian and teacher interaction decides whether the resource is correct or not. So whether it is contextual or not. See, there are so many symbiotic relationships are there in each and every context. So that doesn't mean that librarian is sitting like an indirect. Indirect means directly with the student, he may not be directly with the teachers and directly with the content and resources. The librarian has got a lot of information. So if that takes place, it is going to be better. In the learning process, there are so many specific actions are there. There are questions, there are explanations, there are feedbacks. There are demonstrations. So when some students wants to learn the new concept, You will go to the course material. You will go to the glossaries. You will go to the encyclopedia. You will go to the textbook. That when he wants to learn the new concept, that the resources and the interaction is different. And after he learned, when you want to prepare for the examination, everybody go for either earlier question papers or question takes. In medicine, there are so many question banks of there. 1,000 questions, 900, hundreds of questions, thousands of questions are there in permutation and combination. Students will see that question is not for biting. The question itself is triggering many doubts, triggering the many concept creations, and also it clarifies the many misconceptions. If the question, understanding the question itself is becoming important than the text or a concept itself. That's why the question banks and earlier question papers play a major role. And in the examination time, some parents say, don't use the question bank, don't read only the earlier question paper, they will not come, something else will come. So the use of questions are for a different purpose. It is not to mug the question and answer. And explanation given by them, feedback given by seniors to the juniors and their difficulty, particularly to make a younger student to feel comfortable in answering the questions and demonstration. So many things are there in that. So that kind of peer interaction, that kind of an interaction with the question bank or a concept or a different context of learning is more important. So that is where we need to understand the need, and we have to give the information to the students. And next is assessing. It is the teacher responsibility to assess how is it going, what is it doing, whether the really are the learning process is going in a direction where they can face the situation, if it is examination, research, or particular project. That evaluation of their reference material itself, the content that they are selecting itself will be there. And that's why the content selection is a key action in teaching of learning. The content established what taught in class, what is learning, and it represents the initial control of learning context of the process itself. So, and this kind of the traditional contents are used, there will be no chance for creating a lifelong learning. If they teach particular package. Now libraries are developed for lifelong learning. And when they complete a qualification-based learning, then they start learning at the working place. The approach for working place itself, learning at the working place itself is problem-solving approach. There is no definite text. And there, the librarian's role and innovation is more important because searching information, logics of searching information, or problem-solving approach to the content is very important. That is why the information literacy play a role, and that is why the tools and types of information, structuring of information, as I said, point of care, clinical level, or if somebody, patients, in the context of patient, if a doctor get it out, what he has to do, all these things are going to be the lifelong learning material. Once they get a qualification, their whole life they can live with that particular stuff has gone. Every step, every day in and day out, they have to learn a lot. So libraries are getting developed for lifelong learning. And there are so many key competencies are there. And finally, the context and the content is becoming important. See, when we are teaching the competencies, we are regulating their own learning. And that is what I've been telling. And totally, the learning can be influenced by the context at the library. There are so many other theories are there. Time is up. The last question which I have to you is, does these teachers need to be content experts? Because teacher knows only what package they prepared for the content for the students. If they are trying to handle only those techniques, They are handling only those course materials. So, do they become librarian also? That means content expert. To the what level, if at all, he is there. And job of the teacher, managing the student, assessment of the learning, and teacher needs some content expertise. And that has to be supported by the librarian. So, see, this across all activity, whatever is seen, here librarian is getting aligned with each and every activity of the academia, of the research, of the practice, if it is a hospital or at the point of clinical care. And in fact, in the hospitals, librarians go along with our doctors to the grand round of patients. They note down the difficulties, they come back, they feed the information, including the clinical guidelines. So, actually, librarians have got lot of alignment required in the content. See, content understanding of a teacher is different from the content from the librarians. In the content understanding, the understanding of the landscape or teacher understanding the packaged content is different. Librarian understand the content landscape, but teacher understand the packaged content. So that means who is big, who is small is not important. How much they need to understand that package content is important to teacher. How much the content landscape understanding, we have to structure it, symbiotic relation has to be established to the classrooms or to the particular context is important to the library. So that means that alignment has to be established. That is more important. Students does not follow. Now in the higher education, teacher cannot package a content to particular student. Student also are enabled to package their own content beyond teachers. And teachers are guided to understand the package of the content. They support only curriculum and guidance. Teacher role is very clearly defined now in context of it. Particularly higher education, how much they should teach, how much they can teach, and what is the expectation of the student, how it is aligned with the student-teacher alignment itself is mismatching nowadays. That is why the self-learning is increasing. So, in that context, there are many more things to go. Shall I go on? There's an example, topic of the force and motion. So, if this is the sign, if this is explained in whatever the way for hours together, student may not understand. Student needs to package his content to the learning style what he has. And libraries have got some simulators nowadays. Libraries, we are not just keeping the content. It may be a visual content, it may be a textual content, whatever may be the things. We have some simulators. We are developing the simulators in the classrooms and streaming into the students in the classroom also. Nowadays, the streaming and simulators are becoming part of the libraries and learning content. So that is where we are extending ourselves. Next thing is there is also a concept called teaching content or teaching thoughts. What we are really, are we seeding some thoughts? Are we just making them to understand some content? That is a big controversy which is going on in learning. And that is if it is teaching content, there is a package content. If it is teaching the thought, it is all of library. We are making them. We are structuring the content. We are linking the content in such a way that we create a product of thoughts into the minds of higher education students. And if they want to derive their own content, we need to do that. That is not the job of a teaching content. Teachers within the particular view of the package they are doing, they are also going beyond. But if they can understand the content landscape, that teaching thoughts is becoming important. That is where, yes, nature of thinking has to try and it has to be measured. And what does it mean to understand? It has to measure that. And the assessment of thought is not the priority. Rather, grasp of comment, grasp of content, and promote thinking strategy is how much they grasp. It grasp by in the classroom, grasp in the reading material, grasp in the visual videos. So, in that packaging of that particular grasping of content to create a better thinking, that's a different mindset which has to be created by collaboration between the library and the teacher. So every step, there is an alignment of different kinds. The job of a teacher, if it is to teach skills, facts, concepts, particularly the intelligent material, thinking is simply a tool. So when you give all the thing, thinking becomes a tool. Okay, you think in this direction, you are going to there. You show the road. Okay, you go in this, you will get that. And he doesn't need to think much. And that becomes a tool. Okay, he has said like this, I am going in this that. And curriculum is becoming a content. Okay, all these things are direction is set. I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this. My thinking is just confined to this, and I am going to get the result. That also is shown. So it is packaged. Again, even the block, mental block that we create is also becoming a content. And it's also becoming content. It should not happen. It should become a thought-provoking material. So that is how the symbiotic relation is also established. And many a time, critical thinking, design, the problem solving, all these things becomes a collective circumstance. Now, in the present sense, they say community wisdom. They say they think, okay, we open a pointer box, keep it in front of everybody. Each one will feed their thinking and they give the solution or the trigger materials, and it goes in that direction. They come out with something else. They're also curriculum become. They're really curriculum thought. It is not just becoming the content. So that is how when one this particular cycle of thinking to the implementation and curriculum to the content, curriculum to the thought, and to convert that particular into the thought process of the youngsters to come out with the innovative material, it's a different life cycle. So if curriculum is content, collective performance, and content proficiency, and the resources that we are going to match is becoming. If teacher is not content expert, what is that? What's going to happen? Teacher will have no idea what aspects are important, what are not. So nowadays, teachers are expected to be a content expert. Hence, content and context integration is becoming. Thank you. So, before question, I thank LIS Academy, and it is really a wonderful platform. Actually, I accepted this platform because, see, selfless. There are so many gaps in our LIS department. There are so many gaps in working librarian. They cannot come to learn every time. They cannot go to the Department of Library Science where there is something like an LIS departments have got exit. They don't have again re-entry. This LIS Academy, when I read it in their brochure, it's really very innovative thing. And I wholeheartedly support this LIS Academy for this kind of, this is the beginning. In the beginning itself, when they could achieve this, I think most of the best teachers, if they join this academy, nurture it, I'll be really happy. And I always be with this. Thank you.
Uh, Hello.
Yeah, Dr. Ravi, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Dr. Sidhamalya sir presented a very useful talk on library as online learning environment. In a traditional library environment, where libraries were functioning like an isolated component of an institution, and in the present electronic environment, slowly changed from default to the library has come down and content become an independent. So sir has covered most of the concepts on content and information seeking, learning behavior, and change habits of the reading, and need for the quick access to e-resources which are necessary for the learning. And also the value of the online publications and learning materials, and there is no time to go to library where they get everything in their, you know, the hand or palm or whatever, they are using. So they prefer to listening than instead of reading, and they need an up-to-date information, and they feel comfortable at home and reading. Probably the COVID-19 also witnessing the reason for the learning, how they would like to learn rather than going to the libraries and other places. And often they look the books, and they look always the digital content. So majority of the learning happens in virtual environment than the classroom, and where the digital and electronic library play a major role, specifically for the lifelong learning. Sir, you have given a very good information, and particularly you look at the concept of paperless library, a book, so that that's a reality now. And of course, the COVID also has made us to understand many things in this situation, and LAS Academy has come forward to conduct various these kind of programs to for the benefit of the students as well as the readers or users, and many participants are attending. Of course, they have also raised a couple of questions. Before going to raise those questions, I would like to say about few points about LIS Academy. Right? So they cover most of the concepts which are essential for the learning environment, and you take up whatever the topics identified by them are all need based, where most of the students are the professionals are lacking, and now they can able to come out with the understanding the issues that are necessary, and of course even many LIS schools also joined and to participate in this the webinar to understand many things. So with that, I would like to mention few couple of the questions raised by our participants. One participant from Mumbai, Rajastri Order says, what will be the role of librarian in the present situation? Because most of the LIS schools are not able to produce the online environment kind of tools and techniques. And how come the LIS professionals been able to come out with an expertise in an online learning environment mode of giving the service?
So your question is, what is the role of librarian in this particular?
The professionals, if they are not able to learn.
See, first and foremost job of librarian when the content is liberated from the media is putting the content to the context. That is the most important and primary job. You may use a technology, you may use a traditional method, or you may integrate it into the learning management system. How you do it is immaterial. If you can put the content to the context of usage, that becomes very important. That is what now the librarians are. As I said, point of care medicine, I said that the clinicians get some doubt. If the doubt is not cleared, if we are not structuring the content to that particular context, that means whatever may be the content or a collection or investment you do on the library is go waste. So that is where I am. That is where the importance that I have been presenting here. Align yourself with the activity of the principal organization and put the content to context.
So there is another question from same Mumbai, Sadar Bihari Saku, and maybe you can take it as a question or an answer. I don't know. Then the libraries are going to be the center stage of online learning.
Librarian?
What are, can the library be the central stage of online learning?
Yes.
So,
Yes,
so
yes.
what are the challenges really libraries are facing?
See, the answer is yes. Whether it is a direct interaction with the student or indirect interaction with the student. But even as I said, the content for the teachers, students, and the classroom is becoming the hub. That content, teacher also knows, teacher go with the predefined content, but librarians know the content landscape. He can put the content wherever it comes, but teacher can put the content only to the classroom related context. That's why the librarian's role in alignment with the various activity is more. That is why it is called hub. Teacher is a teacher for particular class. He says mathematics teacher, but nobody says mathematics librarian. That will also come in few days. The domain expertise plus this particular use of tools, technology, creating context also will come. So collection management has gone. Now it is moving towards the front end. So that is why there is a concept called front end librarianship where they go to users. They go to the point of action. Has it answered? If there is any more question, I can.
Yeah, I have two more questions to you. Uh,
Okay.
Dr. Jason and Ellen asked a question. Are our LIS schools prepared to support the self-directed learning skills which is necessary for online
Best
environment?
question. Best question. If LIS school can teach everything, LIS academy is not required. See, there is limitations in LIS schools. 50% we used to say that it is IT, 50% LIS philosophy fundamentals. Now the front end learning, super specialty is increasing. See, this kind of academies are required to fill those gaps. And also, now the change is definitely constantly happening, addressing those changes, addressing the need, fill the gap. This is where we can do. Yes. It's all filling the gap. There is a lot of gap, lot of holes are there. They can see LIS school can teach the fundamentals. How much you expect from them? Can they create a medical librarian? They create a technology apply, a library technology applications in the classroom itself. Basics of see if at all we can make our LIS student to properly map the content. That's the basic thing that they can do fundamental thing they are giving you. Don't expect too much from the LIS school itself. See, majority of the librarians after they get a job, they learn. I learned a lot. I learned the basic concepts in the LIS school. After once we get into the job, our learning and application streamlined. We started streamlining our application and we started learning based on our experience and also further development. At that time, the computers were not very much developed. Now the technology is developed in an internet-based society. Otherwise, earlier there was nothing. The computer itself was a static instrument. Even the first generation internet was a static page. There was no dynamism, there was no interaction, there was nothing. See, that is how see it is in that's why I said all this development is in consonance with the development of the technology itself. And first there were journals, now there was ebooks. Now ebooks and e-journals are going back and there are so many other things are coming. They are in the front end, not these ebooks or e-journals. They are in raw materials.
Sir,
Yeah.
I have one more question to you. I have
Then-
one more question.
Yeah,
From
yeah.
Assam, there is a participant. How many LIS schools are changing their curriculum to the library has online learning environment?
How many schools have got? I do not have a facts. Online learning. See, how do you kind an online learning? How do you kind? And actually, is there a boundary for teaching something called an online learning? Even for the LIS student itself. So now, supposing I consider LIS, this particular activity itself is an online teaching and online learning. And how much of interaction that can happen, how much this becomes a part of our life. And every weekend, if I each worker in an industry, at a research or this one, see, there will become an interaction group. This kind of one-sided teaching, okay, we derive some topic and we teach you. That is going to go. Now there are going to, groups are happening on a particular subject. Each one have their own experience. They share their experience. They come out with a new topic. So it may be health, it may be engineering, it may be something else. And that interaction group is going to happen. This kind of an online education, online teaching is not going to be order of the day. Next is going to be problem solving research interaction group. That is going to happen. But generalizing that as a online classroom is difficult.
Yes, sir. It's quite useful lecture, but at the same time, there is one more question, last question, which I would like to ask
Dr.
you.
Dr. Ravi, this will be the last question. We are already.
Yeah, sure. I'll ask you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is like,
Hello.
so the LIS curriculum are prescribing the reading list of an English based on syllabus, but most of them are not available in the library. So that the students are not going to the library. Rather, they are not available. In this situation, how the students are able to learn?
No, your audio went wrong in between. Please repeat the question.
Oh, you are not able to hear?
Yeah, now we are able to hear.
There is the question from Sanmati Jitendra Jain. The reading list described in syllabus, mostly the books are not available in library and also elsewhere. How come the students should understand the library as an online learning environment?
Yeah, online. See, actually, is there in higher education, first of all, I mentioned, is there any prescribed textbooks, or student has to package their own information to the content or to the curriculum?
The books
Well, they
normally
do not
prescribed.
expect a textbook in a PG level. See, it is in the human evolution, you will see in the childhood, 2-year child, you will hold the hand and write. After that, we leave the hand, then we will put the hand and read it. Then we tell them, you read yourself. Then we just guide them. That's why, see, the PG level, the expectation of the student is self-learning, and only for the concept of purpose, there is a classroom. That is the symbiotic relation. That is where it goes. Prescribed textbook should not be expected, but teachers should make them to package themselves. That's why we say teachers are enablers, and students should be empowered to enable that particular thing. You teach them. See, you don't teach the text. Teach them with the thoughts. Make them to think.
Thank you, sir. You mean maybe the academies like LIS Academy can conduct more such programs based on the prescribed textbook of a LIS curriculum? That's what I believe.
Yeah, definitely, Ravi. LIS Academy has got a lot of dreams to fill this gap where our students are coming out of schools, and we are trying to impart all necessary technical skills, communication skills, writing skills, and we have a road ahead with a lot of plans. So definitely, we will let all our LIS community to know about LIS Academy and NCSA NET's plans in enriching LIS profession. So with this note, this note, on behalf of LIS Academy and NCSA NET Foundation, I thank Dr. H.S. Sidhumalaya sir for his wonderful and very insightful talk on library as a new online learning platform. I'm sure, sir, libraries will evolve as a learning centers in future. And I also thank.
It's a too broad a topic.
Yeah.
One hour teaching is difficult.
Correct, sir. I agree. So I also thank on behalf of organizers, Dr. Ravi, for moderating the two sessions very efficiently. I'm sure he was not able to take up all questions because of a
Thanks
lack
to
of time. So thank you very much, Dr. Ravi, for moderating it more efficiently.